And welcome to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the Deferred Sales Trust is the best way for you to sell your luxury, high-end primary home, commercial real estate, cryptocurrency, or a business, all tax deferred, so you can create and preserve more wealth. Hey, I'm your host, Brett Swarts. In each episode, I'm joined by some of the best real estate, financial, wealth, and business minds in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. We're also streaming on Expert CRE Secrets. You can learn more about how we're helping commercial real estate agents and brokers and M&A advisors grow their wealth. I'm excited about our next guest. He's out of the great state of California, in Southern California, in the Los Angeles area. And becoming a licensed professional real estate was one of the most important professional decisions he ever made. He loves real estate, and he loves helping families and sell their places for the highest price and best terms. And he's here to share all of his secrets with us. He's averaging about 1 to 2 million on the list side sales. And Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Yeah. And for our listeners getting to know you for the first time, would you give us a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
My story. I'm originally from Miami, Florida. My father's a CPA. He's also a broker. I did that when it was all analog back in the day when I was a kid. Hated it. Moved out to Los Angeles, California, to pursue a career in acting. And after a few years of waiting tables and gigging back and forth, I decided, you know what, real estate didn't sound so bad. So I went back and got my license here in Los Angeles. And that's where I'm at. That's how I got started.
It's a good story, and it's a part of it's part of like the American dream in one sense, right? You go for one thing, you discover another thing, and now you're a rock star at what you're doing, which is pretty awesome. So for those though who are still getting to know you, and me too for the first time, I want you to go back to your earlier days, right? Maybe when it was you were learning a little bit about accounting and numbers.
Oh, well, if you can still hear me, you just froze up on me. So that might be on my end. Well, I'll keep talking just in case, because you froze up on me.
I think Andy's back. Andy, are you back?
I'm back. Is that me or is that you?
It's probably me. It could have been the world of the internet. It was just delayed there for a second. So I'm going to have our editor edit out that little piece there, and I'm just going to rewind. If you're watching this on YouTube, you just have to hopefully just fast forward here for a second. So Andy, that's really amazing. Thanks so much for sharing a part of your story. I want you to go back. I want our listeners to get to know you a little bit better. I want you to go back to the days when maybe you're in high school. I believe we've all been given certain gifts in this life, and these gifts have been given to us to be a blessing and help to others. Some people call these strengths, some people call them superpowers. But I'm curious, what are those 1 or 2 gifts that you believe you were given, and how does that help how you help and bless people today?
Oh, well, you want me to go deep. So I'm from Miami, Florida. I went to 13 schools, all kind of in the same neck of the woods. One of the things that taught me was first day of school, you better be funny. And if you're not, it's going to be a long year. I got really comfortable about being in front of new people, trying to make friends right away. I think at some point during my when I was going to therapy in my early 20s, my psychologist was, had some strong feelings about that. And now as an adult, I look back on those days and I realized that it really facilitated, my abilities to just kind of walk in a room and start mingling. During high school, right after that, I worked at a law firm. And I kind of did everything in the office, dealing with clients. I found that I was really good working with people one-on-one. It was a personal injury law firm, so a lot of things were, very sensitive. I enjoyed working with people, being caring, towards their needs and understanding that, there was some sensitive matters that I could sort of chime in on and make them a little bit lighter, with a smile. And like I said, my father's a CPA. I spent a lot of springs in his office from the time when I was like 5 or 6 years old, doing everything with a pencil. I remember installing the first fax machine in his office, and my dad looking at me saying, "This is going to change everything." And just kind of being around, those two separate businesses. And my dad, who's probably the smartest guy that I know, especially now that as I get older, I have tons of tax questions. I feel that it's just it's been a blessing that I still have my own man at this stage in my life to pick up the phone and ask. So
That's fantastic. Absolutely love that. I think the two things I really pull out of that is the ability to connect quickly with others, and also ability to care in an empathetic way and make friends quickly. Is that a fair summary?
or not be shy to try. Right. Not everybody likes me, and that's fine. But I'm not afraid of approaching people,
Yeah.
and I think that's something that I learned early on.
That's great. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. So now let's dive right into the topic at hand, which is the strategy to make more money when selling your home, right? We're in what's maybe the hottest real estate market in the history of real estate, very low housing supply, lots of multiple offers, right? People, especially in California, especially in Los Angeles, Northern California, Southern California. So what's the best strategy right now that you're helping your clients or even potential clients to make more money when selling their home?
My clients, in terms of prepping them for the listing, I kind of just prep them these days for be ready to move quickly. When I hit the go live button on the multiple listings on Friday morning, typically, there's 20, 30, 40 inquiries by the end of the day. And sometimes, in other slower markets, the sellers, they think they're going to have, time, and, there's going to be time to move and get things organized and find another place. And I think the hardest part for them, and for me to explain to them, is like, we're going to get inundated with offers. Hopefully they're all going to be amazing. And then once you pick that one amazing offer, there's a contract and there's a timeline. So it's off to the races as soon as you accept. I think the one thing that I did get really good at in the last year and a half, just because of the how quickly things were just turning over, was getting my clients prepared prior to going live on their listing to transition into the next part of their life. So
excellent, fantastic. So being aware and ready and prepared if and when you go live, because you're getting 20 to 30 offers within a few days or even a few hours.
I did a deal. I put it up on a friend of mine. We're listing their house in Burbank, which is a really highly desirable neighborhood in LA. And I just remember looking at my buddy and I was saying, "Listen, when I hit this button, just be available." And that was Friday morning. Saturday afternoon, I believe we had 34 offers. And like a handful of them are way above asking night number one. And Monday morning, you're opening escrow, and his wife is got the kids, and she's like, "What do we do next?" And I'm like, "You do what I've been telling you to do. Get ready to get going." So
yeah, get everything back to go. And curious, for the sellers who are selling, are they buying a bigger property in the area? Are they moving out of state? What's kind of been the migration pattern that you're seeing with some of your sellers?
A good question. So a lot of my older sellers, a lot of them, just moved out of state. They cashed out, went back to Florida, went back to Texas, Arizona. And then for my younger families that are more the LA natives, they moved out to the suburbs. As my family and I did. I've been living in the city of Los Angeles for 18 years. And I started relocating families to this beautiful area of LA County called Santa Clarita. I kept coming out here and telling my wife, I'm like, I love it out there. It's gorgeous. And I'm all over the city anyway. After about, I think, 4 families that relocated to this area from LA, we did the same. So
Are you seeing the work from home migration and out of the city, a little more in the suburbs, different type of lifestyle? Is that the ability to work from anywhere? Is that changing this migration pattern for the younger professionals?
Yeah, I see a lot of people. I think everything kind of falls depends on where your niche is. So right now, somehow or another, I'm affiliated with this hospital institution, and a lot of them can work from home, but they have their what is it, HIPAA guidelines. They need like privacy and things like that, so they can move out to the suburbs. They need more space. They need more of a dedicated workspace. So they can meet the criteria for their jobs and work from home. Um, and them being able to work from home, it just seems like whereas proximity was such a big aspect of people making their home purchase, how far I'm going to be from work. Um, I got a job at Netflix. How can I be 5 minutes from Netflix? Now they can be 40, 50 miles outside and just pop into the office once a week, once every couple of weeks.
It's really beautiful, right? I think it's good for everybody. And in one sense, we're working more than ever, but we're getting more done than ever. But also, we're having more time and energy if we're work-life balancing it well, right? To spend time with our families, our friends, do the things that are really rewarding in life. And so I think that's really cool. So besides Santa Clarita, what other up and coming, maybe under the radar areas in the greater suburbs of Los Angeles are you seeing?
I keep trying to point people that can go a little further out to an area called Lancaster, especially those that we're on a budget and we're kind of handcuffed to having to be in the city for work. There's properties out there. I know these numbers go crazy, especially when I share them with other people out of state. But to an entry level home in deep suburbs of Los Angeles for $500,000, and there is an opportunity there for families to get out of the city, buy their first home, have that nice homey feel where their kids can be raised, the front yard and the backyard, kind of play in the streets, and decent school district, things like that.
That's fantastic. So Lancaster and Santa Clarita are very cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we talked about the first strategy, which is being prepared to move quickly, to communicate very well,
Yep.
and to just realize that it's going to be like a tsunami of like people wanting to buy and move into your house like tomorrow and close, right? So that's number one, is prepare their mindset and or their actual budget of their time and their energy to vacate and sell. What would be number two strategy to make money when selling your home? What would you say it is?
I like now with technology, being able to stage your home in pictures. So sometimes homes are delivered vacant. The market has been so hot that sometimes we're not even staging it. I think depending on the time and how aggressive the market is, having your home, very as presentable as possible. If you are moving out, making the investment in staging it, cleaning it up, and just making sure it looks good, especially for the feel of the home. If it's a home that raised a family, there's somehow or another. I always feel like you feel that love in the walls. And if you can present the home in a way where it's going to be appealing to that next family that's going to come in, it's also really important. I know for a fact that no matter what my thoughts are, when my wife wants something, we're going to have to get it, no matter what I think. So to make the home as appealing as possible.
Fantastic. And I really love that. And by the way, you can learn more about Andy Martinez by going to andymartinez.com, but also you can connect with him on Instagram at theandymartinezjr.com. That's theandymartinezjr.com. So, Andy, I'm curious, what's the most rewarding part of what you do?
I typically, I would say at least 75% of my clients, there's a relationship beyond the deal, after the deal's closed. The business has definitely brought a lot of good people into my life. That's really enjoyable. Also, in general, I always tell people, the things that I get to do in LA, the lifestyle that I live in LA, doing the variety of work and the variety of interesting people just in this community. It's tough to find anywhere else in the country. I really love being in this community, and I really enjoy building my community through my business as well. LA is a very transient community. So a lot of people come out here, they don't have friends, they don't have family, but they're looking to relocate, and probably one of the first intense encounters that they have with somebody is, me as a realtor. And I get to sort of sell the city, and kind of become the first friend, if you will. I enjoy that.
That's really cool how you brought that together, right? Being that you attended so many schools in Miami and 13 different schools, and becoming their first friend to help them feel welcomed. I imagine there was probably some good friends from high schools or the schools that you were switching over to who were the first friend for you, right? When you showed up on day one and you're looking around going, oh man. So if any connection there, Andy?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think, I going to 13 schools. Yesterday I had a conversation with a friend of mine. He was also in the real estate business in South Florida. He called me up and he was asking me how I was doing a few things. Halfway through the conversation, I said to Alfonso, I said, where did we go to school together? And, because sometimes I see people, I just can't place where I went to school with them. It's been a very long time, and just sort of feeling misfit or awkward. I like to embrace people. I could sense that loss in people's eyes, and I like to, make people feel comfortable.
That's really great. I could sense that too, and I appreciate you sharing that. And that's really I think I could see the reward for you as well for helping people who are relocating or buying and selling. Again, that's Andy Martinez Jr. That being said, Andy, are you ready for the lightning round?
I didn't know there was a lightning round. Let's go for it.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, if you can go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you'd make sure to tell yourself to do?
Listen to my parents.
Anything in particular they tell you to do that you wish you would have done?
I think I would have listened to my father a little bit more about how to manage my money, and not get into debt, and just be a little bit smarter with my credit cards, car payments, things that I really didn't need when I was younger, that I feel like taught me some really hard lessons.
Excellent. Second question, and I'm just going to throw you on the spot here.
Go for
I'm
it.
assuming you've maybe read the book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? And is there one part of that book or that strategy that you try to implement into your business plan?
Yeah, I always talk about the quadrants. That always kind of stuck with me. Just being able to make money when you're not working is amazing. Like I said earlier, I think, I moved to LA to be an actor. One of the benefits of that is, I get residuals. And every now and again, I look at my bank account and I'm like, what the hell is that? And, I go in there and I'm like, there's money that for something I did, 15 years ago, just being deposited in my account. And that I forget which number of quadrants. Is it the bottom right?
Yeah, there's a business and investor. So business would be top right, and then bottom right would be investor, right? So
Yeah.
and then the top left would be employee, and then bottom left would be
Yeah.
self-employed. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It's like you're trading the dollars are giving you time back, right? You're not trading time for dollars.
Correct. And that book in particular, I have an 11-year-old son. I'm glad that book in particular came into my life, because now, my conversation with business, and, my son's 11. He talks about, taxes, and, being an entrepreneur, being, an independent contractor, and the benefits of the being independent, so that you don't have to, or you can, and I can't believe the word just slipped my mind, but
You can be an entrepreneur. You control your own destiny. You control your future, right? You don't have to build someone else's dream. You can build your own dream.
that is true. But what, we all love to write off our taxes. He understands, when dad, has a little business meeting and picks up the meal, especially this year, he knows you get 100% back. He's like, it's a tax write off, dad. And I'm like, absolutely. And I love that I get to have that conversation with him.
It's a great conversation to have, right? It's one of the
Yeah,
ones I wish we all have early, and I wish they would teach this at every junior high and high school, right? They
yeah,
should literally everyone read the book and just learn this
sure,
concept, right? It's
sure.
such a powerful a book, and so cool. Thanks for sharing that. The next question I have
That's
is in regards to curiosity. So, what are you most curious about right now these days?
right. I'm most curious right now about like how to expand and grow my business, social media, marketing, advertising. I've sort of shifted my mindset from going, whether I'm not just doing mortgages or I'm not just a realtor. That's how I make some money. But I feel like advertising and marketing, that's where the next level of genius is going to be or already is. So just like being on your show and what you're doing, I think it's brilliant. And I'm highly curious as to like how we're doing all this and how easy it was for us to come together
Mhm.
in this sphere. And that's something that I really want to get good at and spend a lot of time and energy focusing on these days.
Very cool. Right. It gives you a chance to impact in the thousands, right? And one-on-one is
Absolutely.
important too, but at a certain point, if you can hire a team and then teach and train them on the one-on-one, and then if you can help and build audiences and courses to train on the thousands, it's really rewarding. So very cool. I'm curious, what's your biggest frustration in regards to 1031 exchanges or capital gains tax deferral? It could be a high-end primary home that doesn't qualify for 1031. It could be the short time period. Anything come to mind, Andy, when it comes to like the 1031 frustrations for yourself or your clients?
Um, Finding the 1031 intermediary that is good at managing the client during the process. I think like sometimes, especially when they're doing it for the first time, they require a little bit of hold handing, and since that's a little bit not in my scope of practice, and they're dealing with that person, um, and that person is just a little bit more technical and contractual. Um, Sometimes that frustration comes back at me, and I'm like, that's not really my area of expertise. Um,
Excellent. So find that specialist, that QI company, or that capital gains tax deferral expert can help navigate those
Absolutely.
very
Yeah,
tight timelines.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially that has good bedside manner.
You sure, right, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, good bedside manner for sure. Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. This is our last question, then we'll wrap it up, Andy. So, after all your success, after all the properties you've sold, all the families you've helped feel welcome into Los Angeles and relocating, and even success as an actor, right? Even if it's a small
Yeah.
amount of success as an actor, how do you stay centered in your values, and how do you stay encouraged to charge forward to reach new heights?
My family definitely keeps me centered. I have my parents are still with me, and I have a beautiful family. I was, raised kind of crazy, but with a lot of love. And I definitely want to, for my wife and my son, I don't, I like to show off for them, if you will, and thrive and, take on challenges that they can see me kind of struggle through and persevere, right? Because it gives me an opportunity to presently uh, show, especially my son, that sometimes you gotta go through some crap to get to the reward side of things. So
That's really amazing. I love that. Andy, I want to thank you for being on the show, sharing
thank you.
your wisdom with us. And for our listeners who want to get in touch with you, what's the best place for them to find you?
You can Google my name. I'm kind of everywhere. At the Andy Martinez Jr. on Instagram is great. Um, you can always pick up the phone and call me. It's right on there. So
Awesome. I want to encourage you to keep using the gifts of connecting with people, being caring and kind, and give people a smile, and selling real estate and helping families. One of the American dreams of owning real estate and owning your own home. And so, thanks for being on the show, Andy. I also want to thank our listeners for listening to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, also streamed on expertcresecrets.com, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy. Using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the Deferred Sales Trust is the best way for you to defer capital gains tax on a high-end luxury listing property that you're selling or cryptocurrency. And getting with someone like Andy Martinez to help help you sell for a very high price. Maybe get those 30 offers in about 24-hour period. Make sure you're hiring, you're looking, you're vetting the top listing professionals in your area, and you're getting that competition to drive up your price because today is a great time to sell, and you want to make sure you have a competitive environment to do that. So check out Andy Martinez and go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com if you want to learn more about the Deferred Sales Trust, or expertcresecrets.com to learn more there. Thanks so much, everybody,